As you all know, I am the proud owner of this beautiful G30 M550. But there's one thing that's even better than a white BMW with a V8. And that is two white BMWs with V8s. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the E92 M3 review.
Smoke a little weed on the couch in the back room, hide away. Say you never let me go. Say you never let me go.
Okay, so what do we have here? Here we have a E92 M3 Coupe 2010 model year. So one of the earliest facelifted versions. These started production in around 2006, 2007 and until 2010 the pre-LCI model was built, and yeah, here we have a facelifted version, which is not as easy to tell with the M3, and that is for the main reason that the headlights are actually the same for the pre-facelift and the facelifted version. What I like especially about these cars is the design language. This is, I would say, one of the most beautiful BMWs ever built, at least to me, because this design language of, you know, these beautiful hoofs right here, also with the M3 on the side, I just love the way BMW built this car, and honestly it's such a timeless silhouette, you know, with the coupe, carbon roof as well on there. Absolutely beautiful car, I have to say. When we take a look at the front, we can already see a bunch of insects, but we can also see the iconic M3 bumper with some carbon flaps on this car. Of course those are not stock, but you can see the bumper looks very aggressive with this M3. And is of course exclusive to the E92 M3. Continuing with the hood, you have the iconic power dome going like this, and also some air vents right here. Those are actually connected to the intake plenum, which you will also see in just a second. These are the competition package wheels, absolutely beautiful, I love those. These are just the perfect split between OEM and also a sporty look. The standard M3 wheels, they are not the most beautiful ones, but these competition wheels are actually just absolutely beautiful. I love those. Also big brake on the E92 M3 compared to, of course, all of the other E92s. At the back of the car, the design language just continues with this beautiful ducktail. This is not OEM, but what is OEM is just the absolutely beautiful E92 M3 back bumper, which is of course also different to the standard E92. And we can already see the facelifted taillights. Those are way more beautiful than the pre-LCI version, honestly, and such an upgrade if you have a pre-LCI model. But of course this car came from factory with them, as it is a facelifted version. Going down here, we of course, like with any good BMW, don't have the stock exhaust. And you can also see kind of our setup to capture this exhaust sound of this V8. But right here we have a Grail Exhaust system, which is, I think, one of the loudest ways to go with the E92 if you want it to be legal. That's a big emphasis on that. Of course you can straight pipe it, but we live in Germany at the end of the day, and that's just a huge headache. So the Grail is the way to go if you don't want any headaches regarding police or whatever. In the interior, the M3 components continue, so to say. We have these interior trims right here with the M3 badge on them as well, and of course these M3 sport seats, which are also completely different to the standard sport seats, of course. So a lot of this car is completely different to a stock E92 3 Series, and back then BMW really made sure that the M3 was a special thing. The materials used in this car, everything is pretty much leather. The seats absolutely beautifully upholstered, and also with these and the steering wheel absolutely beautiful with the shift pedals as well. And of course, analog cluster, no screens used whatsoever. Okay, let's move to what this car is all about though, because of course you know it, it's BMW's one and only V8 in an M3. This right here is the S65 4-liter V8 naturally aspirated. No turbocharger whatsoever and just a ginormous airbox. In this case, we actually have the Eventuri intake Plenum, which is made out of real carbon fiber and honestly costs a fortune, but is of course one of the most sought after modifications you can do to these cars, and sound wise it just makes a night and day difference. So I'm really excited to be driving this car and hearing the intake Plenum in action, going those high rev ranges and just hearing this beauty right here. And what I love is how much care for detail the BMW M division back then had, because as you can see right here, we even have the M3 badge in the hood as well. Of course also on the intake Plenum, even if it's the stock one, if it's the plastic one, you have this MV8 badge. So everybody knows what's up if they open the hood right away. So super cool. I just love the attention to detail here. it's completely different from any modern car, I have to say, and that is for the sole reason that this is a naturally aspirated car and not a turbocharged one. And what I mean by that is that you have to give the car the revs, really. It needs those revs, because pretty much, honestly, driving this car, you really start to get the power above 6,000, 7,000 RPM. But that was just the concept. When BMW built this motor, they built it for the revs, and you really do feel that. We do have KW suspension in this E92. This is not on stock suspension in any kind of way. And for driving, I have to say, I really do enjoy it, because you can basically throw the car around a lot and it doesn't lose traction. And especially when you're driving with the V8, with the high revs, you start to get to pretty high speeds in some corners, and there you really do feel how the suspension is allowing you to keep pushing the car, and you don't have to take off the gas as soon because you have a suspension which is able to take corners at higher speeds. The E92 M3 comes in two versions. You can either get it with a manual or with a dual clutch transmission, and in this case we have the dual clutch transmission. This is not a manual, which for driving, I have to say, it makes the driving experience a lot easier. And it's not like, I mean, if you compare it to the SMG, which was at the same time in the E60 M5, which was around the same model years, this is night and day difference. This is not comparable to a SMG in any kind of way. And for driving, this transmission can really hold up to modern transmissions, and I think even that the dual clutch transmission in this car is the same one mechanically as the M4 and the M3 from the F series. You don't hear anyone complaining about the transmission in an M4, and for this it's the complete same. I think driving one of these manual would be also a lot of fun. I haven't driven one yet, so I can't really make the comparison as much, but I think it changes the kind of driving dynamic, and for this it almost feels like you're driving like a track tool or something, because you're able to just focus on the driving experience a lot. And I get, when you're driving a manual, you might feel more connected to the car or whatever, but honestly right now, driving this car, I don't really miss it. Another must-have for these cars, as far as I'm concerned, is the intake planner. I know it might be expensive, yes, but the sound experience you get as a driving person, driving the car just in the front, in the interior of the car, you get all of this suction noise from the air in the front, and I do really love that. And I would even go as far as comparing it to the CSL, which we've also reviewed previously, and of course the airbox on that one was completely insane. It's not quite as heavy on this one because you have the V8, and the V8 does enough noise on its own, but still the airbox is a huge upgrade when compared to the plastic normal one. Exhaust wise, I have to say, kind of a double-sided thing, because on the one hand, at the right times the exhaust is really loud and it just sounds awesome. You have the V8, you have this raw raspy sound of the V8, but on the other hand, to make this exhaust legal, Grail did have to kind of write the code a little bit towards making the exhaust a little bit quieter by closing the valves. And the fact is, when you're driving through just the normal everyday traffic, the valves are almost at all times pretty much closed when you're not going back roads, country roads, whatever, because they kind of had to make it that way, I guess, to make the exhaust legal, make it a little quieter. But at the end of the day, that's not the fault of Grail, the exhaust maker. That's pretty much just the fault of German noise regulations, which is unfortunate, and it does take away a little bit of the driving experience, I have to say. Above 80 kilometers per hour, the valves are completely open, and then it's really fun to drive the car. But I mean, I want to be a little bit obnoxious and going through the city and having also the valves open, which you can't really do with this exhaust setup, which is unfortunate. Maybe also for the better, you stay out of trouble that way. And even when you're just standing still, The valves are closed above 4000 RPM for noise measurements. So yeah, I mean, what can you really say? At some times the exhaust is absolutely awesome. On the other side, the exhaust does have to fit regulations. But after all, this is a legal exhaust setup. So yeah, that's what you're gonna get, of course, if you want to comply to the regulations. Still, I would think hearing one of those straight pipes would have been absolutely awesome. But yeah, I guess we have to go to the US for that or something, I don't know. Let's talk about pricing with these. These have gone up in value. If you're looking for a clean one, clapped out, I guess you can pick them up for anywhere between like 20 and 25k. But clean examples of these are in the 40 to 50,000 euro range, at least here in Europe. In the US, of course, it's a entirely different story. You can buy them for basically nothing there, but here in Europe, these cars have gotten pretty expensive if you're looking for a clean one. One thing which is of course going to hold back a lot of people from buying one of these with the S65 engine is the known issues. The reliability issues on these cars are known. We do know them. We know about the rod bearings, we know about the throttle actuators. These kind of tend to go on every single one at some point. You're gonna have to do the job, otherwise your engine is going to explode. But once you do those, I think the car is really a great driver's car, and honestly, still dailyable, I guess. Still great power, great sound, and basically just one of BMW's last true M's, the one and only M3 with the V8. And at night, just look at it, so beautiful with the angel eyes. Yeah, I mean, how beautiful is that? So what's my verdict on the E92 M3? I have to say, probably a stock one wouldn't have been as much fun as this one. And I think this car was modded just right, because at the end of the day, the E92 is just known for the mods, and you do have to do some of them. Because honestly, the sound and also the suspension setup from factory is a little bit outdated and also underwhelming at some points. So I think the car was modded in just a perfect way. The combination of the intake plenum as well as the exhaust setup with the KW suspension, I think it's just the standard package what everybody seems to be doing to their E92, but it makes sense, you know. It's just the right modifications. It still looks OEM and still drives like a normal car, not a track tool. I guess you can go above and beyond, ripping out everything in the interior and stuff like that. All of that evil stuff people do to their E92s. But yeah, it doesn't really need it. I think just like this, it's actually perfectly modded, and you can still daily drive the car. You have a sporty car when you need it, which is a ton of fun to drive, honestly. Maybe you could compare it. This car is a little bit of a time capsule in some cases, because this is pretty much an era when BMW, you know, those 2000, 2010 years, is just when BMW was able to do it just the way they liked and didn't have to maybe, yeah, align with all of the regulations and stuff like that, which unfortunately in modern day can be the case. So yeah, I think with the new release of the new M3 also, these are only going to be more loved by the M community, because just look at it. Just look at it and tell me it doesn't look absolutely beautiful. So, moral of the story, spend all of your money on an E92 M3, I don't know, and subscribe for more car content. And thanks for watching, I guess.
They say that I'm on the road, maybe I just lost control. Nights keep on taking tolls, find me out here on my own. Keep blowing up my phone, maybe I just lost control. Nights keep on taking tolls, on my own. They say that I'm on the road, lost control. Nights keep on taking tolls, find me out here on my own. Keep blowing up my phone, lost control. Nights keep on taking tolls, on my own. Tell me I'm alright, take me through your mind. Say I'm trying fuck, I think that you're right. I still feel a thing when I look you in your eye. They say that I'm